gummy bear.
It's the internet, you're busy. Let's do this for September 28th, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, we have 1 week until I'll be under the bright lights of Times Square dressed as Elmo and trying to get Jeff Bakalar to take a picture with me. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Mike Minotti from GamesBeat. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, Jeff. Getting a little sick of your face, to be honest, but you know, I'll deal. I'll persevere.
Listen, there were many times when you were sleeping next to me in the van as I was driving us home on Saturday where I thought about killing you. I thought about ending it all.
Was I snoring? Because I do that, so that may have...
You snored a little bit, but I put in my noise-canceling headphones to listen to a show long before you started snoring. I was just like, I'm just going to do this to make sure I don't fall asleep. It worked. It worked out pretty well.
It worked. You broke the law, but it worked, I guess.
Yes. I was canceling out road noises, and I'm like, there's 0 cars on this street back to Ohio in the middle of the night. I'm probably okay. It was a good time, though. That travelogue should be going up soon. I mean, Jess is making a lot of progress, apparently. She seems pretty excited about it. I can't wait to see it. Mostly because I'm vain, and I'm like, ooh, I'm in that video. I get to see me.
Me too. I like to see myself do things.
Yeah. So, and we did a lot of fun things. I saw the F-Zero AX arcade machine. I was into that. That Sonic machine that was pretty rare.
The Sonic
I guess.
trackball game that I never thought I'd actually get to play was there. I can't wait for people to see that.
Primal Rage 2, which was
unreleased,
really bizarre looking. Yeah, and that Beavis and Butthead game. There was a lot of cool stuff. That video will be going up soon. But I don't know. What have you been doing since? You've been just recovering? Because that's what I've been doing.
I mean, I slept a lot on Sunday. Yeah, that's for sure. But since then, basically just laying low, Jeff, just working. We actually have a new writer at GamesBeat that started on Monday. Yeah, Jordan Fragan. She started on Monday, so I've been kind of getting her acclimated.
Tell you what, that 2 weeks notice probably didn't cover it when I left, huh?
Well, it turns out, hiring people is a long process, but she is here now. We feel more like a team again. Before, when it's just 3 people, that's just 3 assholes. Who knows what they're doing? 4 people, that's a team.
Right, exactly. That's you can cover quadrants at that point. If there's a situation where there's quadrants, now you have 4 people to cover each quadrant. And I can imagine that's pretty crucial. Well, that's exciting. Once everything gets settled, maybe we can have them on the show as well.
Technically, your replacement, so
yeah,
she's already great. Already better than
it's got a major improvement, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, before we get into this mess, let's explain what we do here. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. If you are watching on there, please be sure to hit that like button, and hello, YouTube. I like you guys hanging out with us. Okay.
Yeah. Jeff, there was a poll. Is the Cheesecake Factory a fun thing? And Cheesecake Factory, yes, won, but only kind of barely. All of those no's, if we took them to Cheesecake Factory,
they would have fun.
I guarantee you, it would have a lot of fun.
This is one of the things I have zero doubt about. If we took you all to the Cheesecake Factory, you would have fun. You would have a good time. Everyone at the Cheesecake Factory was having a good time, and there were a lot of people there.
There were a lot of people there.
A mass of humanity. Absolutely.
All happy, just all so ecstatic that they got in. They were the lucky few.
We got one of the lucky few to get in. Exactly. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Wild Hearts trailer has debuted. This is something we talked about earlier this week, that EA and Koei Tecmo working together on this game. They've promised to reveal a trailer on September 28th. Guess what? That's today.
That's today.
They showed it off, and it looks a lot like a hunting game. It looks a lot like what you would expect from a Monster Hunter sort of clone. Now, this game is getting a extended gameplay reveal on October 5th. They did show some tidbits here, and I'll try to bring up the trailer here in a second. But Mike, what's your first sort of reaction here in terms of you like Monster Hunter? Do you think this is something you would give a chance to?
I think this looked pretty good, Jeff. Actually, it looked pretty slick there. I guess like I'm surprised it overlaps with Monster Hunter as much as it does, especially Monster Hunter Rise with the kind of Japanese and Eastern sort of trappings of it all.
Yes.
But it looks very pretty. The monster designs look really cool. They look pretty intimidating and big. Like honestly, it looks a lot better than most Koei Tecmo games, even.
Right.
So I'm kind of excited. I'm into this. I want to see more. I want to learn more.
Well, here's a little bit more from the press release. Some quotes. Wild Hearts opens up a vibrant fantasy world to players that's as untamed as it is beautiful. That's from Yosuke Hayashi, who's executive vice president of Koei Tecmo Games. With Wild Hearts, not only did we want to showcase the evolution and fusion and real threat caused by Kimono, I think that's the area that they're going to, but we also wanted to create a game where crafting was at the core of the experience, redefining what can be possible in a beast hunting game. We have placed great care in designing our Karakuri to fit within the combat, and we're excited for players to use these powerful mechanisms to fight giant beasts and traverse the world. And then from EA, let's see here. EA Originals is a label for those who dare to explore, said Stuart Lang, Vice President, Global Brands, Electronic Arts. It's a home for studio partners like Omega Force, which is the studio under Koei Tecmo that's doing this, forging new ways to play from bold creative visions, and for players who love to discover untold stories in unseen worlds. Basically, blah, blah, blah. But they do confirm this is a AAA hunting experience for a new generation. Mike, you want to know how I know for sure it's AAA?
I know how you know, Jeff.
What's that?
Because they came out and they said, fuck the PlayStation 4. Well, fuck the Xbox One.
That's the quote I didn't read, yeah.
Yeah, they pulled the ripcord, the true next gen ripcord, right? They did it.
Yes, and they're pulling that ripcord so they can land safely on $70 Island. This game's going to be $70, and it's the new generation consoles only, coming out September.
That's my favorite. Lousy March weather.
I love September weather. That's a hoodie weather, if you know what I mean.
September's great. Hoodie and shorts.
February 17th, 2023, $70, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Origin, Steam, and the Epic Game Store.
My stupid brother in chat made the lousy March weather in chat before he heard me make it on the show. Damn it. I hate how brotherly we are.
Listen, I'm still not convinced you're different people. Okay, this sounds pretty good. They are going all in on next gen. I'm at a point where I hear $70 and I'm like, okay, as long as you are making big promises and the game is actually only coming out on new gen consoles and you really feel like you're trying to push stuff forward. And for the most part, this feels like that's exactly what they're going for here. Monster Hunter aside, like competing with that, hey, go for it. I'm ready to see what you can put down. And you're right. I think this looks pretty good.
It looks slick, and the timing is pretty good here, Jeff. It feels like we're almost perfectly right in between Monster Hunter Rise and what I assume will be Monster Hunter World 2, right? In terms of Monster Hunter World, we haven't had like the Xbox, PlayStation Monster Hunter game in a good while there. So especially on those platforms, there's a gap. There's a gap there. This can kind of slot in pretty nicely there.
And for people who are like immediately going, this is just a Monster Hunter ripoff. This is a studio that has done these beast hunting games, as they call them, for quite some time. They did the Tukiden series, which was a series of hunting games that I think was on PS3 and definitely on PS4. There was multiple ones. Kiwami, Tukiden Kiwami came out on PS4. That was also just a hunting style game. This will have zone-based game areas, and then you can have up to 3 players in co-op modes. EA is helping with publishing, and this game has been in development for 4 years. All those details come from the IGN interview, as picked apart by Nibble on Twitter. This is one of those ones I will probably give a shot, especially being on Steam, PC. I'll put it on the Steam Deck. We'll see how it goes. Looks like it should run okay. I think probably on a handheld like that.
It probably won't run as well as Monster Hunter Rise, a game that's originally designed to work on the Switch. Runs
even
on
Monster Hunter, even Monster Hunter World. Both those games were RE Engine, right? So those games would scale very well. RE Engine, very well known for its optimizations and running great on kind of anything. I would expect this probably not to run as smoothly as that, but still, I bet I can get away with doing it on the Steam Deck. And I've been wanting to get into these hunting games. My understanding is they are sort of a genre unto themselves where you are going to put a lot of time into learning how their nuances, learning how to do each fight and prepping for a fight and then putting together the best build and then going into that fight and try to understand each monster. That sounds like a pretty good loop to me. It sounds like an intense one. And so I kind of want to give myself over to one of these games, and none of them have really like caught me yet.
Apparently, Monster Hunter World is not the RE engine, so that's interesting.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Every other point still stands there.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise, it definitely was, and that's why it went on Switch, and Monster Hunter World is not on Switch because it's not RE engine. Yes, still, I think Monster Hunter World very well optimized, and then I would expect this game. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be really good at it. Koei Tecmo has a lot of experience putting stuff out across the wide slew of hardware. So maybe they'll get their optimizations in there. Either way, though, I'm ready to see this game for myself. And we don't have to wait long. This is that partner game, as I've been saying. This is the partner game that EA said would be coming before the end of March. It's coming in February 17th. Are you surprised about the quick turnaround, or does this feel normal for the industry now?
It feels normal. That's a pretty quick turnaround. I think for a game like that, especially new IP kind of things, that is right. You don't want to announce these things forever, and then by the time they come out, people seem to like almost kind of be over it, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm surprised. I think I'm happy is what I am. I think that sounds good.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Any other details about this? Now,
you know what I like? I like that pig enemy, that giant boar that looks like it came straight out of that one Studio Ghibli film that I'm brain farting on for some reason right now. But the one with the guy and the
Porco
sword.
Rosso? What? Oh,
no, I wish Porco.
I was like,
Princess Mononoke. That gave me moment.
Yes, Princess Mononoke. Yes. Yeah, you know what? Yes, totally. Yes, it totally looks a little bit like Princess Mononoke.
I wish there was a giant monster that was just Porco Rosso flying around in his little biplane. That would be great.
Yes, with Michael Keaton's voice and everything.
Yes, but no, I mean Princess Mononoke.
Let's see. There was a little bit more news. We won't get a PS Plus lineup leak for October, but seems like Injustice 2 and Hot Wheels Unleashed will be a part of it.
That's from Nibel.
That's from Nibel right now. Okay, let's move ahead here to the Grand Theft Auto 6 alleged hacker pleads not guilty to computer misuse charges. Just a quick update on this story. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. The 17-year-old reportedly arrested on suspicion of hacking Rockstar Games and Uber has pleaded not guilty to charges of computer misuse. Appearing at a specialist London youth court, the teenage boy denied using his mobile phone for hacking purposes. Bloomberg Law reports. City of London police arrested a teenager in Oxfordshire last week and charged him with 2 counts of breach of bail conditions and 2 counts of computer misuse. The court, the judge at the court, who I guess I don't really know exactly what you would call it in an English court or whatever, but they said they are holding off on doing some normal procedural things because they are going to combine this case with other cases involving other companies. That seems to be maybe even Microsoft and NVIDIA, and I guess we'll see what happens then. But so far, pleading not guilty, I wonder if this is definitely 100% the person completely responsible for all this, or if this is just one member of that Lapsus group, and maybe maybe they're actually going to involve other charges with other people here pretty soon if they can catch them. I mean, who knows?
Really try to scare him into giving up buddies and all that stuff. Breach of bail. What's he out on bail for?
I'm not sure. I do not know, so I'm not going to speak to that. But yeah, so I mean, we will probably get a littering of details about this case as it continues throughout these next couple of weeks, and we'll try to stay on top of it. But for now, that 17-year-old that was arrested, all the headlines about him pleading not guilty. We will see what happens next. Nintendo has updated its Switch Online app for iOS and Android with Splatoon 3 widgets. This comes from Oatmeal Dome on Twitter. You can get things like stage schedules, your character's gear, and the result of your most recent matches, and they will show up in these little boxes that you could put on your home screen on your phone. I think it looks pretty good, Mike. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I've had nothing but bad things to say about Nintendo's mobile app, and this is actually mildly neat.
Yeah, I am planning to update this app. I think I have it on my phone. I don't know if I've used it in months. I think I still have it. I'll update this, and I'll update it, and then I'll put some of these on my screen. I mean, I guess looking down at the maps, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I need to know what maps that are going to be there.
I mean, none of this is crucial information, but it's just kind of fun to see. I like Splatoon so much right now that I like the idea of seeing Splatoon stuff on my phone. And the fact that it's mildly personalized to me, that's just neat.
Yes, I that's where I'm at too, where it's just like, I want to keep Splatoon at the top of mind. and involving my phone in part of that like fandom and being excited about that game, that works for me. And also, maybe seeing my gear, it might remind me, oh yeah, I need to keep upgrading my gear and making sure that I'm getting exactly what I need. And I'll think more about my gear, which is always the thing. Like once I start a match, I'm like, oh, I meant to do that. Now maybe I'll look at my phone first, and when I hop in the game, I'm like, that's top of mind. So I'll improve my stuff. Do you think these are the kinds of updates Nintendo's going to keep doing with the Nintendo Switch Online update? Or, I mean, what else can they do to make this thing any better? I'm kind of the opinion that I hope this app goes away or it is de-emphasized in terms of using online voice chat, and a new Switch would just have all that stuff built in, right?
I mean, it's insulting to act like this is your main like online app as like for your portable system, and like there's a lot of stuff that should just be on there. I don't mind it as a companion app that does fun little things like that, Jeff. Like that's fine. Put a Smash Brothers widget on there and whatever, or a Mario Kart widget. That's fine. But yeah, it absolutely cannot be. Like the language especially was just so bizarre around this thing when it came out. Like, hey, everybody, this is where you do your online stuff. It's like, can we do that on the system? No, don't you have phones? So it was one of those moments. So.
Yes, definitely. What a weird company.
I mean, look, I feel like a lot of people are hearing about these widgets for the first time from us still, right? Like, it's this app. Not many people are checking this thing out.
Yes. I mean, why would you actively be engaging with that app unless you are part of some weird Nintendo Splatoon esports thing where they force you to use this to communicate or something?
Maybe.
But other than that, I can't think of any good reason to actually be in there using that. Kat Bailey did an interview for IGN where she talked to a bunch of the engineers responsible for the Steam Deck, and she got an update about the Steam Deck dock, and that is still having issues. Here is the quote from Lawrence Yang, one of those engineers. He said, "We're having a lot of the same supply chain issues that we ran into with the Steam Deck. The deck is actually in a much better spot now. We're able to produce them at a much faster clip. The dock is being manufactured at a different place. It has different components and has its own supply issues and constraints that we've had to deal with. We're overcoming them, and so we are going to hopefully announce something soon, so watch out for that. There's a lot of stuff that we wanted to do to make sure that it works with as many peripherals as possible. What's great is any work that we do for the Steam Deck dock works on every dock, so every USB dock is benefiting from all of the work that we do on SteamOS." I actually just got sent a dock from iVolver here. I'm going to be testing it out soon. But it looks like it has kind of everything you need. It's got all these in the back. It has the wire that comes around on top to connect to the Steam Deck there because, the port is on the top there. So, I mean, this is pretty much exactly the same thing that they're going to be making. Excuse me. I wonder, like, what improvements they could really implement that would set their dock apart. But, I mean, they say themselves it will improve every dock. So, this is cool. Are you waiting? I know you have a Steam Deck. Were you ever waiting for this dock, or is this something like if you're going to get one, you'll just look on Amazon or find some other way to connect it to a TV or monitor?
I have no personal interest in the dock. If I wanted to like sit down and play a Steam Deck game, I'd just do it on my computer. If I wanted couch gaming time, that's what look. I'm fortunate to have PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS. So now if somebody didn't have those things, and occasionally they want to do couch gaming and whatnot, I could totally see why a dock would be a pretty useful thing. But for me, not so much. But I agree with the kind of, supply chain issue. Sure. The most important thing was making Steam Decks, Jeff. And that seems to be ramping up pretty well. So I can't imagine too many people are going to be too hard on them about this.
Yeah, let me ask you, what do you think is the state of selling Steam Decks? You're right, they've picked up the pace on that. Do you think that they continue sort of maintaining their way of doing things of selling Steam Decks primarily just only through Steam exclusively, or do you think they begin opening up other avenues of selling these devices as we get closer to the holidays? We're getting pretty close. They haven't announced anything like going to a Best Buy and getting one. Do you think that's still on the table?
I mean, you would think that's what they want. You would think that they would want, like, in November, like after Thanksgiving, the possibility of people going to Best Buy or Walmart and seeing Steam Decks just on store shelves and be like, this could be this could be the big surprise gift for my significant other or my, my 15-year-old daughter or son. You think that would be the goal, Jeff, but you're right. We are kind of like getting there and haven't heard anything yet. I still think it's on the table, though.
I think so, too. I wouldn't be surprised if, as we get into October, they say, hey, here's some good news. We are servicing everyone who's ordering them on Steam, And so we feel good allotting shipments for Best Buys around the country. Now, maybe that is just cutting it too close, but I think definitely by next year. Next holiday for sure. Not this holiday. Next holiday for sure it'll be in stores. And I think that'll be a big coming out moment for it. This thing's already in our scene. When I go on Twitter, when I talk to people on podcast, everyone has a Steam Deck now. Everyone has one. It is wild how much it has just become one of the things you have to have if you are playing games in this space. When something's that popular, I feel like it has enough inertia to break out of our orbit and go mainstream, and at least to a certain extent. It's never going to outdo the Switch, I don't think. But it doesn't need to. It just needs to be one of the best-selling gaming computers of all time, which it easily could be if it gets into retail. So
right, and as like other like people's portable things are coming out, even though the Steam Deck's expensive, it's becoming more and more clear just how good of a value in a certain way this thing is. Again, like that Logitech thing, it's like, oh, that's neat. I can't believe it's only slightly cheaper than a Steam Deck and much worse.
Yes, much less powerful in every way, less capable in every way. Yes, it's pretty wild. And then on the other end, things that are about equivalent in power are $500 more expensive or more in some cases. So, yeah, the Steam Deck, I don't know, get in while the getting's good, because the next Steam Deck's not going to be this cheap. It's not going to be this affordable. Ubisoft seems to think Far Cry 6 was Game of the Year. This comes from Liam Croft at Push Square. Branding around the Ultimate Editions of games has always been a little weird, but it's never funnier when a publisher hands itself a Game of the Year edition for something that didn't exactly set the world on fire. Enter Ubisoft with a Far Cry 6 Game of the Year upgrade pass that's just been spotted on the back end of the Microsoft Store. Yes, the Game of the Year for 2021 we all loved was Far Cry 6. Okay. Two sites did give it a Game of the Year. Some like site called EFTM, which is a tech, cars, and lifestyles publication, and also BGR, Boy Genius Report, which I most know now as one of those sites that appeared in my Google News on my phone without me asking for it, saying, here is the PlayStation 5, and it was a fan render. And they did that like literally a dozen times with different fan renders. So every week they would be on my phone. Here's the controversial new look of the PlayStation 5. And it's like, oh my God, this site sucks. Please get off of here. And well, they gave Far Cry 6 Game of the Year. So how much can they possibly suck? Why, I don't know why you do this. It's the same Game of the Year edition or Game of the Year upgrade pass. Do you think that gets them more sales than just to call it an Ultimate Edition?
I don't know. Like, I guess they're thinking like, well, people who don't know think, wow, this must have been really good. It was the Game of the Year. But it seems like most people are pretty savvy now, Jeff, and like the grandmas and stuff. I don't know if that's going to matter to them. Right. I don't know. Like it seems bizarre. Like Far Cry 6 seems more like a game people buy themselves than a gift game even for some reason. Right. So people are going to know what the reception is. And they're either going to look and see that it has a 73 or 74 in Metacritic and get turned off, or they're going to think, well, that's okay. I like Far Cry. I know what I'm getting into. That's fine. Nobody's going to be like, whoa, it's the Game of the Year. I didn't even know that. I guess like everything else I was hearing about is wrong. It's mostly just funny, Jeff. It's mostly just funny.
I like Grizzy Tron in chat saying Far Cry 6 was certainly one of the games of the year of 2022.
It's true.
Lowercase for all of that. Yes. Okay. Very good point. They could say Far Cry 6 Game of that Year edition. I think that would be completely fair. And I would actually be almost interested in buying that, just to have something like that on my shelf. Yes, you're right. It is mostly just funny. This isn't a problem. It's just a weird thing for these companies to kind of keep owning themselves in such a way.
Rachel Kaiser, Far Cry 6, Weed Cures Cancer Edition. What is the plot of that game? What a weird game, man, and what a weird game. I didn't like it, that's for sure.
I mean, even the people, I remember this. It came out, there was a lot of talk about, oh my God, it's the same thing again. And some people were like, well, that's what I want. I want the same thing again. And then 2 weeks later, like, this game sucks. I hate playing it. I played it for several hours, and it was a lot of the same stuff, and it was just boring in a way the previous ones weren't. I'm like, yeah, man, I hear you. I'm sorry. Joker.
I'm excited to see what they do for the next one. There's a part of me that's like actually pulling. I mean, like 8. I don't know if they're going to do their like 0.5 thing they always do. Part of me is like excited to see if they actually just do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine there's a lot of momentum behind these games. And like you were saying, we were talking last night on our podcast. We don't know if this game did poorly. It probably sold fine enough. Like, is the signal inside the noise surrounding Far Cry 6 still saying make more of these to Ubisoft? And that it probably was. Although if you probably look deeper into that signal, there's probably some warning signs in there too to say the next one might not work. So maybe abandon ship, but we'll see what Ubisoft does.
After Assassin's Creed Unity, we still got Assassin's Creed Syndicate, right? But and then after that was like, all right, reboot time.
Exactly. We're gonna get to Syndicate.
At some point, something's got to happen with Far Cry. I can't just make like the 8th one of these kind of things.
Joker voice lines by Mark Hamill have reportedly been found in Multiverses. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Twitter user LysolMV claimed to have discovered an announcer pack for the game containing numerous lines spoken by the Joker, which can be listened to via a tweet that I was going to play, but we'll just go for now. The voice actors in these lines, which appear to have been newly recorded for Multiverses, is almost definitely Star Wars actor Mark Hamill, who's voiced the Joker in numerous animated shows and movies since 1992. Man, going on, what is that, 30 years? Man, 30 years of doing the Joker. Although an announcer pack isn't the same thing as a fighter's spoken lines, every announcer pack in the game to date is based on one of the existing fighters, so you could probably expect that the Joker is going to be a fighter in this game. Where are you at with characters getting announced for this game? Are you still excited at all? Is this, this is something I care about, or what?
I'm so interested to see. I poo-poo the gameplay of Multiverse a bit. It doesn't feel nearly as good as Smash Brothers to me. I like the idea this game's doing well, though, and that there is like a nice Smash competitor, and it is fun to see characters coming in there. I'm sure that Joker's going to be there. You're not going to bring in Mark Hamill just to do an announcer's pack.
Right.
Kind of embarrassing that they weren't able to get Joaquin Phoenix, though, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone knows that's what you want, but he big shotted them, I'm sure. Once Multiverses gets to like 200 million players, maybe he'll think about it. Because anything less, he's not getting out of bed for you. No way.
They actually should just put all of the Jokers in there. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. There should be that should be like their April Fool's Day thing. Is you can only play as different variations of the Jokers in Multiverses, and that could be pretty fun. All right. The NES core for Analogue Pocket is out now. It supports 4 players via dock, saves. It has most mappers, expansion audio, video settings, and more. Save states are not yet supported, but save states are coming soon, according to the core, the people who are porting the core. There are, NES cores for FPGA chips have been out there. This one, it was an existing one for the most part and got ported over to the Analog Pocket. But it shows like work continues on this device where people weren't sure what the community would do with the Analog Pocket because it's not open source in the same way that the Mister project is. But so far, obviously we got the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Gear. All those cores were there like day one once the FPGA stuff went live. Since then, we've gotten Super Nintendo and NES, and I think that's it. And I'm wondering, okay, well, those are the obvious ones. Do they then start work on Sega CD or something like that? Is that going to happen next? And we don't know.
Genesis, just straight up Genesis will probably be next.
You're right.
But I would like to see Sega CD and like Turbo Graphics, stuff like that.
Yeah. Either way, I'm just like, okay, I always assumed we would get these cores at the very least. I don't know if we get much beyond now Genesis and a few others at this point. Like Turbo Graphics is the one that always kind of gets ported as well. It's possible, but I mean, so far, I'll just say that Analog Pocket has lived up to my expectations. Now I'm ready to see if with the FPGA scene, if it can exceed those expectations, and that would be great. But as is, what it is today, it's totally great as one of those retro handheld game playing devices. And now it's just a good way to experience a lot of other retro stuff. And now with the dock, it can be my one FPGA thing, so I don't have to necessarily go invest in a separate Mister. Although again, I would get a lot more support if I did.
Right. I am still mostly interested in using my Analog Pocket to play like the cartridges for the Game Boy games. I'm probably not going to worry too much about these cores myself, especially when I have the Steam Deck and I can do all that emulation stuff on there very easily. But it's nice to see this stuff happen.
Right. And obviously the difference here is this is hardware emulation instead of software emulation. Some people think that's a big improvement. That's why so many people really like the Mister. I am someone who's been mostly happy with software emulation for quite some time, and so it's I'm kind of okay. I don't necessarily need the difference that FPGA brings.
I mean, yeah, trust me, I'm the person who has like a GameCube with the HDMI adapter.
Exactly,
I like
yeah.
hardware emulation, but for like 8-bit, 16-bit, like software emulation is very good for that stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty much perfect, right? So
Yes.
I'm not too picky about.
Let's go here to new Overwatch 2 users will have to play 100 matches to unlock all original heroes. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Basically, they're talking about their first-time user experience and trying to make sure that this is a pleasant thing. And we'll get into some of those details. But real quick, Mike, I wanted to get your reaction to that. Like, if you're bringing someone new into Overwatch and they have to play 100 matches before they can unlock all the heroes that you've had since the first game, I mean, I don't know. How does that make you feel?
I don't know. It might be a hard sell for some people because everybody's going to look and they're going to see a favorite that they want, and they're going to want to play as them. Now, you say unlock all the original heroes. Like maybe if they can at least prioritize the one they want to unlock, fine. The weird thing, Jeff, is that this is how all these games work. Really, it's like how multiverses work. You get some free heroes, and you have to unlock more. So it's fine in that sense.
Dota 2 doesn't work that way though, and that's made a lot of money.
It never did.
Yeah,
it never did. So it doesn't have to work that way. The real problem here, though, is that it used to not work that way. That's the thing. It's hard to have it be one way and then retreat to that. And I know it's like, oh, it's a sequel, so it's this break and you can do it. But we all know, like, Overwatch 2's sequel status is a little bit strange. It is overwriting the previous game. I don't know. Everything about Overwatch 2 has me feeling slightly uneasy. Like, I should be just excited. That should be my only feel. This game's coming out very soon. I loved Overwatch 1. I should just be super pumped. Instead, I'm like anxious about this. Like, how's this going to shake out? How are people going to react to it? There are some people who think that this is going to somehow come out a bomb. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think Overwatch 2 is going to do just fine. But I do just wonder how it's going to feel. This isn't going to be a big make or break deal for me, really. Obviously not for me at all, because I already played. I already get the characters. But it's just one more kind of weird thing.
Yeah, I like the suggestion from your brother in chat, though, that this could deter Smurf accounts, right? If you have to unlock stuff. But, I mean, I guess some Smurf accounts will probably just pay to unlock everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and that's fine. You know, Smurf accounts, that's like something where how big of an issue is that really?
Sure.
A lot of people cry Smurf Jeff when it turns out they're just having a bad day and not winning very much, you know? That's like the aim bot. Like, obvious hacks, obvious aim bot. And
yes.
No, that person's just better than you, actually.
This FTUE, the first-time user experience, some details about that. The decision is to gate certain content and features is part of an introductory process the studio's calling first-time user experience. Blizzard said the FTUE is designed to gradually ease players into the game following consistent feedback from new Overwatch users feeling overwhelmed by its various modes and characters. Access to competitive modes will require new players to first win 50 quick play matches, and that's win. This focused experience eases new players into the world of Overwatch by teaching them about different modes, rules, and other high-level aspects of the game in an approachable way, Blizzard said. Most FTUE restrictions are lifted while in a group, so new players can team up with their friends at any time to play almost any of the game modes, which that makes sense. Overwatch 2 coming October 4th, coming next week.
Very soon.
Very soon.
I'll be playing.
Yes.
I think we're gonna be doing a big goodbye Overwatch 1 stream right before then. I think that'll be fun. Jeff, maybe you can join in on that.
I will.
I have no problem with needing to win 50 quick play matches before you can play competitive. By the way, that's fine. People should not stumble into competitive mode.
And if you need your Sherpa with you, right? You need to be with your friends, and then you could play if you're with your friends. That's fine.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that's a follow. That makes plenty of sense. That is okay.
Yes. Real quick, before we move on, the overall temperature on Overwatch. You said some people think it could bomb. What do you think it is like among fans that are in the same place as you, people who played a ton of Overwatch 1 and are sort of waiting to get back into this one? Is it still wait and see?
I think there's some skepticism. If you go on like the Reddit, there's a lot of like negative things out there. But hey, there's been a lot of negative things about Blizzard games for a long time, even outside of all that weird stuff, right?
Right.
I mean, you go to World of Warcraft's like forums or something for the last 15 years. It's mostly people talking about how bad the game is and whatnot. And it's not like I'm not saying they're wrong a lot of the time, but things are fine anyways. So there's a lot of anxiety because again, things are slightly different. Free to play can be scary for a lot of people. What does that mean? There's some big changes with the 5v5 and just some of the balancing that's gone on, little things here and there, the one tank, some of the adjustments to how DPS work, uh, unlocking new heroes when they come out. There's just a lot of things, and it's still the sort of nebulous state of what the co-op's going to be, how that's going to come out, how that's going to be priced. It's going to be piecemeal. Is that going to be everything that we were hoping that was? There's a lot of things that are kind of just scary and weird here, I think. And hopefully, whether people like it or not, we all at least sort of know where we are with it once October 4th comes.
Yeah. Intel could be about to go head-to-head with NVIDIA. This comes from Tom Warren at The Verge. Intel is officially announcing pricing for its top ARC graphics card today. The top-of-the-line ARC A770 will arrive on October 12th, starting at $329. This price matches that of NVIDIA's RTX 3060 card, and the A770 is expected to comfortably outperform the 3060. It should be about equivalent to almost a 3070.
That's what I have.
Yeah, and this, you have a 3070 Ti or just a 3070?
I don't know.
Cool. Good aside, Mike. I always appreciate those.
You're welcome.
This comes from the CEO, Pat Gelsinger. We've been seeing that for a long time, that the price of the GPU is right in this $200 to $300 range. But what's happened in the last few years is that they've gotten super expensive. You should be frustrated because you are losing out as the gaming community, and today we're fixing that. So, I mean, it sounds like they know that they can compete on price, if nothing else. And so they're going to come in hard on that side of things, which makes sense. The A770 will include up to 16 gigabytes of GDR6 memory, a 2100 megahertz clock, and 32 XE cores, Z-cores or XE cores. Intel hasn't released full benchmarks for the A770 yet, but it did show a few things, and this image is cutting off a little bit, but I'll go over there just to take a quick look. This is them comparing it to the 3060, and you can see it's about on par, and in some cases it significantly outperforms. In Battlefield, though, in, let's see, Guardians of the Galaxy and F1 2022, it is behind the 3060. But yes, it wins some, it loses some, but the ones where it wins are like, let's see, Fortnite.
What's that second one where it's destroying? Is that Fortnite?
That's Fortnite. One? Yes, Fortnite. Man. Yes. So maybe that's where they want to be winning, right? Is in the more budget side of things. Now, $200, $300 range for a card. I guess that's budget. It's definitely a budget range today, but that used to be like, you could get a really good car for $300 several years ago, and even just a couple of years ago, and now that's just off the table. 1080p 60 from like the RX 460 way back in the day, like 2014, 2015, 2016. You could still have one of those today, and they would be doing pretty good at 1080p. Hopefully, this is where this card is going to try to fit in at, and I think it'll be nice to have more competition in this space. But the big question mark with Intel in GPUs is their software and their driver implementation. A lot of headaches are going to come from that. NVIDIA is mostly a software company at this point. They have so many software engineers making sure that their stuff runs really well. And that's been what's keeping them separated from even AMD as AMD catches up on the hardware side of things. And Intel, do they really have the software engineers to go in there and make sure that every game individually is supported with driver updates? We're going to have to wait and see. My guess is going to be that you could get one of these cards relatively affordably, put it in there, and in most games, big games, it's going to run fine, but a lot of people are going to run into instances where that card just doesn't work as well as you need it to, and there's some graphical issues with the drivers, but we'll see. Any plans to upgrade your graphics card anytime soon, Mike? Or are you happy with the 3070?
No, I put in this 3070, whatever it is, not too long ago, and it's been very good for me. But, I'm desperate to see competition in this space, Jeff. I know like a lot of people saw those, those 40 series cards from NVIDIA, and it's like, man, those are really expensive. And yeah, they're like powerful. Are they that powerful? I don't know. So yeah, getting things like a card that's just, hey, it's not that expensive. It's expensive. It's a graphics card, but you can buy this and it'll basically run all the games that you need to run.
Yes, that's true.
Like, that's great. And, if that can get them a foothold in general, and then who knows from there, maybe they can start making some better high-end things. But like you said, it's going to come to some of that software support. Yeah. But hopefully this thing, it just does so well that they kind of like feel like, okay, we do need to support this. We need to really dedicate resources to this.
Yeah, and people in chat pointing out NVIDIA making it really hard to compete because DLSS is so much better than everything else. That's true, but DLSS is not in everything, so there's still some space open for maybe open competition on that super sampling side of things. And that's where AMD's trying to make that happen with FSR. And FSR should run on Intel stuff. So honestly, maybe they could benefit from some software things, even if they're not doing it themselves. But those drivers are going to be very important. We'll have to see. I also wonder if we are finally at a point where most people are going to be moving on from 1080p monitors here pretty soon. It still doesn't quite feel like it. Like most people just are happy with 1080p. You don't need much more than that. But maybe once that starts to happen, maybe the graphics card competition can heat up a little bit more once again. Instead of these companies being like, we got to sell more cards at a higher price because people aren't upgrading as fast as they once were. All right. Finally, Team Ninja says it isn't against outsourcing a new Ninja Gaiden game. This is a kind of a weird one, I thought, but I saw the headline in a couple places, so I thought I would include it, Mike. This comes from an interview that Team Ninja did with VGC. The director and president of Team Ninja has said that all the pieces would need to fit for a theoretical future Ninja Gaiden game to be developed. As part of a longer interview with VGC this month, we asked Fumihiko Yasuda if he would consider outsourcing a new Ninja Gaiden game to another studio or handing the IP to a younger internal team. We're not announcing anything, Yasuda replied, but both of those ideas sound like great plans and are both possibilities in a sense. Those are both very, very reasonable ideas for potentially a sequel in any series, not just Ninja Gaiden. But what I want to say is, if we were to theoretically work with another company on a new Ninja Gaiden title, we would need to make sure that it would be a title that the fans would really enjoy and exceed their expectations. Ninja Gaiden is a series that I think still has some name cachet. Maybe after 3, which I know people didn't like as much, people were not necessarily clamoring for another one. But now I think if Ninja Gaiden were to come back today, I think it could be something that would get a lot of attention, get a lot of people excited. I know you played Ninja Gaiden Sigma recently. Would you be down with a new game in this series, even if it was from someone that wasn't Team Ninja?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's been so long now that it being Team Ninja, it's like Retro making Metroid Prime 4. It's like, well, that's nice and all. I don't know how many people from like Metroid Prime are actually involved. Yeah, I would certainly be interested, Jeff. I wonder what you do with it. Team Ninjas, they made a lot of action games. A lot of them still pretty ninja-y since then, or coming out, or what have you. I guess what does Ninja Gaiden look like today? It is a big question. There's a lot of stuff that Ninja Gaiden did really well, just with the way its action feels, and still kind of feels a bit unique and a bit different from modern action games. So I guess I would be interested in seeing what that is like today. They're pretty non-committal here, though. This is certainly not, laying the seeds for anything. It's not something I think they're really thinking about. Someday there will be a new Ninja Gaiden, and I would actually be surprised if it wasn't Team Ninja themselves doing it. I'd be surprised that they actually outsource it. I mean, who would you outsource it to?
Yeah, I mean, right. There's probably not a lot of studios available to do something like this. I mean, maybe an up-and-coming development team in Japan that we haven't heard of or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more likely that they just eventually begin working on a smaller project in their studio, and that's when we get Ninja Gaiden. But either way, it's nice to hear them considering Ninja Gaiden as not a franchise that is just not worth revisiting. They clearly see it as something they could go back to. It's never going to be like a God of War, but it could still be a classic franchise that's worth revisiting and bringing back to a new generation of players. All right, Mike, that does it for the news. What I figured now is we could answer some questions from the chat here.
Wow.
So let's go and do some Grub Snacks questions.
Let's do it.
It didn't play. The music didn't play, and that's fine with me.
I can do it.
Yeah, let's hear it. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Yummy, yummy.
And there we go. There's the Grub Snacks theme song, as everyone knows and loves it. All right, if you have a question, hit that Ask a Question button there at the top of the page. Also, if you are in Twitch, just go ahead and at me, at Jeff Grubb. Or at giantbomb. Just at giantbomb. That way it'll highlight it for me. And I'll try to answer your questions. Let's get to it right now.
Got 2 Cheesecake Factory questions already.
Okay. I would have it no other way. All right, I'm going to make the chat big over here. Hit Twitch and questions. All right, here we go. Nylock, are you a fan of Cyclops?
No. Sorry, Jan.
I like Cyclops, but I was always a Wolverine boy because I'm a simp and I am basic. So, yes.
I'm very exciting and interesting in my opinion, so I can never like somebody as basic as Cyclops. I have to be cool and like a Nightcrawler.
Okay, apparently there's a new Pokemon on Twitter, and Wiglet, and they want to get a reaction there on Twitch
I
chat.
saw it.
Okay.
I mean, if you're being favorable, it looks like a wacky inflatable arm wailing tube man. If you want to be unfavorable, it looks like a penis.
All right, I'll go to twitter.com/Pokemon and we'll get that up to see for ourselves. Hopefully it's just right there, I'm guessing.
I was told I talked about penises too much on Less Than 10 Dogs, Jeff, so I'm sorry I had to bring it up again, but come on.
I had no expectation that I would ever be able to stop you, so I was hoping we could just skirt around the issue of the penis, but here we are.
Look, I wasn't going to bring this thing up, all right? You brought it up. You asked me to comment. Actually, you didn't ask me, but I commented on it, and there it is.
Someone in Twitter chat put the link to the Pokemon for me, and then I'll include it, and we'll react. From Looter Jennings, if you could add one item to the Cheesecake Factory menu, what would it be and why?
Well, it's got to be something in their wheelhouse. So it's got to be a glam burger, a pasta dish, or like some kind of taco-y burrito thing. I would like something like, I don't think they have anything like super. They have that Cajun pasta. I would like something with blackened chicken, maybe over some rice or something like that. I don't know. That might be nice.
I would want a Japanese curry. I think they could do a good Japanese curry.
They have a coconut curry there.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes.
It's not, so that's not Japanese curry. So
right,
yes,
and the coconut curry is good though, which is why I wanted to try out their Japanese curry. Okay, hang on, let me bring it back.
Somebody sent just a picture if you don't want to go through this video.
I'm gonna go through the video. Let's see. I'll skip ahead though.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay. Oh no, yeah. Let's get a little bit closer here. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that thing.
Oh, keep going,
it looks like
Jeff.
a sea cucumber.
Yeah, he's not done yet.
Yeah. Is this it? A Wiglet?
Yeah, but I don't think you're seeing all of the Wiglet yet.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. Let's see. I mean, okay. Oh, he just keeps going, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, good for him. And shout out to your lady friends, Wiglet. There.
I don't like it.
I love it. Big fan.
You would.
Looks like all the best foods. Hot dogs and beef jerky and all that stuff. I'm a big fan.
Apparently, this is not a new form of Diglett. This is, in fact, its own Pokemon. I hope it also has an evolution that's just 3 of them huddled together.
Sure, yes. Okay, so yeah, Wiglet, a whole new Pokemon, and a whole new entry in something that looks like a wiener. All right,
there you go. We did it.
Back here. We'll get back to these questions. Pudge, will Advance Wars Reboot Camp ever come out? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to come out. Jeff has some reservations on this, I know. It's going to come out eventually. I wonder if they actually are really hardline, Jeff, about the war in Ukraine has to be over first.
Yeah, and it's like at that point, who knows? I mean,
right.
And once it's over, like, is the game still going to be in a state where they feel like they could release it? And because like, who knows if it comes out and needs like support? Will a team be available to work on support? So there is a chance the game never comes out. There definitely is. Right now, when I asked about them, I asked about it, and they gave an update, and they just said it is still indefinitely delayed. So it's just delayed. They're like not saying it's canceled or something like that.
It was a bad sign when it didn't show up at this latest Direct.
Sure, yeah. But neither did Metroid Prime Remaster, and who knows.
Well, lots of things that broke our hearts didn't show up. We don't have to talk about that Direct.
Slane McAwesome, have you boys watched Andor yet? Your thoughts?
Nah, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Mike doesn't really. It's not his vibe for Star Wars.
I don't like dark, gritty Star Wars.
I started watching it, and it's. I'm very excited about it. It's at pretty much exactly what I want from a Star Wars TV show, where I see the Yavin battle scene in A New Hope, and there's all these characters in the background getting the ships ready, and I'm like, I wonder what goes on in their lives, and this is a show about them. And so I'm like, okay, give me more of that. And the production and the structure of the storytelling is really well done compared to something like The Mandalorian that I just found so mostly boring. And then in the case of Boba Fett, just straight out bad. Yeah.
It looks like we do, in fact, have the PlayStation Plus games for October.
Oh, yeah. Lay them down for me. What are they?
It is, in fact, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Injustice 2, and Super Hot.
Okay, well, that's
the non-VR version of Super Hot. I forget that game exists outside of VR sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good lineup. I tried Hot Wheels Unleashed on PC, and I'm like, this is no cruising blast, and I turned it off in disgust. No, it was fine. It just wasn't exactly as good as everyone's making it out to be. Everyone sort of made a big deal about that game. I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. Let's see. And From Jake Oat, hear anything about the status of the Dead Rising franchise? I've not heard anything recently. I don't think. I know that there was movement to try to do more back in Canada for Capcom. But I don't know if it was going to be a big enough initiative to take on a Dead Rising game again or something like that. So
right, no, definitely not. Dead Rising 4 was a pretty big disappointment across the board. I think sales and reception wise, they've really retreated from a lot of those Western studios. Like you said, there's a little bit of that. No, Jeff, I imagine like 10 years from now, there's going to be like one of those like Dino Crisis style, like where's Dead Rising kind of clamors. Like you could wait longer to get people actually hungry for Dead Rising again before you think about doing that. You know, I don't have much love for Dead Rising. I actually liked Dead Rising 3 a good bit on the oh hey Addie, how's it going?
We got to ask her a question. Addie, is that a meep?
Yes.
Oh, it's a meep?
Yes.
That's his name's Wiggly. Wiggly is a meep, everybody. We got
we did
an answer. There you go, chat. Thanks, Addie. Appreciate it. Thanks for your help. All right.
Meep confirmed.
Meep confirmed. We've confirmed the Meep status for Wiglet. Congratulations to Wiglet. Very happy for it. All right, Mike. Let's get to the polls. Let's do that. Let me see here.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? That's the thing I didn't do. Let's answer one more question, and you can answer it while I actually get it all set up. I knew I was forgetting something.
That's great.
All right. So, who you all maining in Street Fighter 6?
Oh, I like kicky girls in fighting games a lot. So I'm a big Cammy fan. I don't like that she doesn't have her little hat anymore. So that's a little sad.
I'm so sorry.
Yuri, yeah, but well, she probably actually just has her normal costume, anyways. I always liked Cammy in these games. Yuri also very good. Although I played the new guy. Gosh, what's his name now? Is it Luke? I think it's just Luke. Yeah,
Luke. Yeah.
Because I got to play this game actually at Summer Game Fest back summer, and Luke was pretty fun. So that was pretty cool. But I'll probably, especially when I'm starting out and getting familiar, I'll probably be playing Cammy a good bit. I'm pretty comfortable with Cammy there. But I'm pretty excited for DLC just to see like, you know, some of the weirder additions, like, you know, give me more Street Fighter 3 characters, give me more like people straight up from Final Fight, you know, stuff like that. Bring in more rival schools. Just do it. Actually, just add a Power Stone character into this game. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Give me those Power Stones.
Yeah, I mean, they are not going to be making all of their other fighting games as frequently as they used to, which obviously they're not. It's like, incorporate some more of that into Street Fighter. I agree. Power Stone would be a very good pull, though.
Yeah, Power Stone would be very good. I mean, they did add a rival schools character to, I think, 5, and they've been pretty good about, like, Final Fight's in the same universe, so there's always a lot of crossover there. Like, there was a lot of Final Fight characters in 4 Ultimate, like Poison, Relento was in there, Cody got in there, so, you know, I still want Hager. I need Mike Hager in there, and then I'll actually be happy.
Ken all day, but Cody in the games. Put Cody in the game, you cowards. If Cody's in there, I'll play as Cody, because I always like Cody in Street Fighter Alpha, whatever it was on Game Boy Advance.
Do you still want him to be like Prisoner Cody?
Yes, Prisoner Cody, 100%. He deserves to be in prison. Yes.
He's still in jail.
It's the character I most relate to, someone who should be punished for their crimes. Absolutely. All right, let's get to this poll. On Monday, I asked, have you enjoyed any of the console/PC Star Wars games since Disney has taken over? 4% said all of them. 15% said most of them. 25.4% said none of them or I don't care. And 55.6% said some of them, which I think is a pretty decent hit rate, which I think is exactly, this hit rate I think will continue exactly as is if they start putting out 2 Star Wars games per year. And that just means there are going to be more good Star Wars games because there's also more bad Star Wars games. It's just math, Mike. It works out, and I'm all for this.
There you go. Yes, but when I thought about this, I was like, I guess I actually, you know, I always think, oh, yeah, you know, the Star Wars games have been bad lately. When I think about it, it's like, actually, no, I did like most of them. It's just not a very steady release schedule. But
exactly,
you know,
that was the problem.
I like Squadrons. I even like the 2 Battlefront games, despite their problems. Like, when Battlefront 2 was working on all cylinders, it was super slick and fun, actually. And you know, I really like Jedi Fallen Order, obviously, but yeah, just not really enough of them is the problem.
All right, new poll for tomorrow. Do you think the Monster Hunter genre is big enough to support multiple games? And let's see. I'm gonna go with yes, and I'm gonna go yes, but only smaller competitors, or only indie, only from indies.
Yeah. Dauntless. Only Dauntless.
Yes. No, but devs should try. And no, I only play MH. Okay. And
give
we'll
me
go
MH or go to hell.
Yeah, give me AHH, go to hell. That's the unofficial answer there. All right. Do you think the Monster Hunter genre is big enough to support multiple games? I'm posting this now, everybody. Usually gets posted here in chat. So if you want to vote right now, feel free to do so. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb. In the meantime, Mike Minotti, thank you so much for spending time with me on this show talking about video game news. Anything you got going on you want to talk about?
Gosh, no, just getting busy over at Games Beat, ramping up. We have our event at the end of October. So we're starting to get ready to that. We've got the new staff member. And there's games are starting to come out, Jeff. There's coverage is ramping up a good bit.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It still feels like there's going to be some gaps when normally there would be a lot of other games just because so many things have been delayed. But that doesn't mean that there's not stuff to talk about. Overwatch 2 is coming out next week. That's a major thing.
Overwatch 2 is coming out next week.
Exactly. So it's all, all hands on deck. We got our show next week, so we're also pretty busy. So
yeah.
And then we're going to get back from that and be like, oh my God, there's so many games to be playing. That's already happening. We did several more quick looks than normal last week, and I think we're going to try to keep that pace as best we can, even with our travel and stuff. So we'll see what we could do. But yeah, here on Giant Bomb, I think I'm going to go eat a lunch here. So I'm going to go do my timestamps and stuff like that. But tune back in. We should have Arcade Pit, and then after Arcade Pit, we'll go right into Eternal Darkness in the heart of Jeff Bakalar's soul. I believe that we will get the guest that everyone's been clamoring for back on that show. So it'll be Bakalar, myself, and Satan. Satan, not Dan Reichert. Fuck Dan Reichert. No, I think Dan actually.
The devil himself.
Dan. Oh, yes, the devil himself and Satan. So, yes, Dan Reichert, the devil himself. That will be right after Arcade Pit. So tune in for that. We'll go for, an hour and a half or whatever, 2 hours. We'll see how we're feeling. But we're starting to pick up steam in Eternal Darkness, so definitely tune in for that. And then there's some other stuff happening. You can find it all on giantbomb.com. Be sure to check it out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're going to end this show now. Thank you. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.